Okay, so welcome to another episode of Thrust Talks. I'm Ritin Wadekar, and I'm Ritin Wadekar of SCENTC from PVG, Pune Vidyarthi College of Engineering, and she's Riya Karambelkar of SCIT from the PVG College of Engineering. So you are here today to interview Quinston. He's a Pune University pass out from 2016, and he's the founder of Time Bolt and Farsight. Right. So shall we start?
Yeah, go on.
Okay. So so the first question: can you give a brief introduction about yourself for the audience so that they can know you and
Yeah,
um, yeah.
sure. Yeah, so my name is Quinston. I'm a co-founder at FarsightX and TimeBolt. So my basic skill set is to build and design products. I like to say that I build and design internet products because that's what I do. So I graduated in 2016. I'm a computer engineer. So I basically design and write the code and build the architecture of the products. And yeah, that's about it.
Okay. So basically, you are an entrepreneur, and
Yes.
you are a tech entrepreneur, I guess. Yes.
Uh,
So
so the so the thing is that I like to say that I'm not really. So I started off as an engineer because I
okay.
am trained to be an engineer. So I'm a programmer by profession. So in 2016, when I actually graduated, we didn't really have any. So I wasn't really a entrepreneur. You can say like I was more of an engineer who liked to build. I honestly, I just wanted to build some cool stuff. Like that's all I wanted to do. But eventually, as you know, you started building products, you get ownership in the company. You start dealing with equity investors, stuff like that. So you have to like know about stuff. So then you become an entrepreneur after you have experienced all these things.
Okay. Yes. That's interesting. So my second question to you is when did you start to take steps towards your company? Like when did you start the journey of entrepreneurship? Like
Okay,
the
so
initial step.
as I said, I never really thought about being an entrepreneur. Like it wasn't something that I was like. You have these things, right, where people say, okay, you know, when I was a kid, I've been wanting to be an entrepreneur. I always wanted to start my own company. Like I have never had that. I was, if you can say, like thrust into it. It happened by chance mostly because, as I said, all I wanted to do was build cool stuff, and the fact is that basically entails that you would need to own the product because nobody's going to let you build what you want to build unless you own what you build. so so yeah, that's how it happened. So in 2016, right, I graduated, but before that I met my team in college, the people I started the company with, started co-work with, and all we wanted to do was we wanted to build a company which actually could generate sustainable revenue. And we realized that virtual reality is something at that point of time which was picking up, and that we could actually do something in it because building the software for a virtual reality product didn't seem very difficult. We had other options like 3D printing or building something with artificial intelligence, but that had a longer time to uh, actually be developed because it would take a lot of time to develop products in those categories. So we thought virtual reality would be something where we could quickly build something and test it out in the market and see if people pay for it. And we did. So we started a virtual reality services company called Quark Experiences Private Limited. And yeah, I actually had a job at that point of time where I went for 5 days. So I got placed in college. Um, I went to that job for 5 days. On the fifth day, I was like, I don't want to do this anymore, and I quit. And then yes, the next 3 months, I didn't have a place to live, so I lived at my friend's house, and for like 3 months, and his mom fed me some really nice dal bhat, which I've never had before because I'm from Vasai. So yeah, that's how it happened, and then we got our first check, and that's how the ball started rolling. Then we raised some funds from a local Pune company, and then we actually even bought the shares back, and now we own the company completely. But yeah, that's how it started. I mean, if I was completely honest, I wasn't always in the front seat of the venture. If you think about that, I was a co-founder. I had equity in the company, I was a partner, but I was never in the front seat. I was more in the back end, developing, designing the product that will actually be shipped out. So yeah, now in 2019 was when I actually started like taking a front seat, dealing with customers directly, selling the product also, and doing stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay, so moving on to next question. Uh,
Yeah.
as a technological entrepreneur and a tech savvy, what are your thoughts on artificial intelligence in a broader perspective and in a futuristic point of view?
So yeah, I mean, artificial intelligence right now in that sense, I mean, I don't know if I'm qualified, but artificial intelligence right now, the way we deal with it is that it's solving very, very small problems in society. Like for example, which is the best next TikTok video you should watch? Like that is the kind of problems artificial intelligence is solving today. Like which Instagram photo is supposed to be the most engaging for you next? I think, okay, that's interesting. But yeah, I mean, artificial intelligence right now is not very advanced. It's very, I mean, these algorithms are very simple to build. You can like build them with a simple Keras model. It's not very hard. But what I am interested in, or what I would like to see in the future, is like general intelligence and how that would impact the world. Because personally, I don't think that's going to happen very, very soon, simply because of the fact that I don't think we have that sort of processing capacity available to us available to us at this point in time. OpenAI is doing some stuff like with the GPT-3 model, but the GPT-3 model is still a glorified writer. It doesn't have context at that level still. But yeah, general intelligence, if it can happen, I'd be scared. Yeah, I mean, if it can happen, it'll be, if when the world ends when computers can write code. Like if computers can write their own code, which is contextual, and I mean that is the end of society as we know it, because then they basically become sentient. And the weird thing is Elon Musk is doing this. Elon Musk had this interview in which he said that he's really scared about artificial intelligence, but then he goes on and invests in OpenAI, which is one of the most the leading AI company in the world. It's a very weird thought. Like I don't know why he would do that. Maybe he thinks like if he wields the power, maybe he'll keep it safe, I guess.
Okay, that's good. Then my next question to you is, okay, this is sort of your business thing. You are into business. You must be looking for business partners. So what do you look into in a business partner, and what qualities does he or she need to have in him?
Okay, so
I'm
not looking for any business partners at this point in time, because I'm pretty satisfied with my partners right now.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean,
But
one of the most important things. Yeah, so I mean, the most important thing is competence. Like you need to be able to get the job done. Like you need to be able to read, write, understand, be competent. You need to be able to speak well. The thing is, we underestimate all these qualities, but they are important. Like you need to be able to communicate, and you need to be able to understand concepts which are like, if you have read this book, right? It's called 0 to 1. It's by Peter Thiel. And Peter Thiel was the first investor in Facebook. He gave Facebook $500,000, and he was the first investor from the I think it was the Founders Club or something. I forgot the name. But yeah, in his book, he talks about this thing called the contrarian opinion. I'd like the founder to understand what a contrarian opinion is. Like what is a contrarian opinion? Like, yeah, stuff like that. You need to be competent. I mean, that's the only thing. And it depends on what kind of business partner I'm looking at. Like if it's an equity partner, it's like a marriage. Honestly, like if you're sharing your company with somebody and you're giving them like 30-40% in your company, that's like a marriage. Like you need to think that through really, really hard. Because that equity is not going to come back to you anytime soon. If it's a lighter business deal where you're sharing revenue or sharing something, then you don't need to be involved personally on that. You look at the facts and you look at how they can perform if they are. Yeah, but if it's equity distribution, you got to be really careful. You need to know the person, you need to know who they are, what they do, if they're competent, if they can actually do the job that they're promising they can do. It's like a marriage. Like you gotta vet them really hard. And if they're asking for like exclusive rights over some work you do, even then, like, you got to vet them really hard. But if it's like a normal business partnership where they're saying we'll bring in this much amount of sales and we'll do this for you, that's something you can consider very lightly. But if it's equity or exclusiveness, then you got to be really, really hard on them.
Okay. So they should be responsible in that case.
Yeah, competent, responsible, intelligent, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So this will be my last question. Is there anything that you would like to tell the young minds about entrepreneurship?
Yeah, it's hard. Okay, entrepreneurship is hard, but it's not as hard as you think it is. Like, people have this thing that it's so hard that they will never be able to do it. It's not. It's not very hard. I mean, I think, from my perspective, I think people who work a job are even, like, their lives are harder than my life in that sense, the way I think about it. I mean, what do you have to do to start a business, right? Let's look at the basics. You need a customer and you need a product. That's it. You need a customer who is willing to pay you money for the product. That's it. That's what you need to start a business. That's really, I mean, it's not rocket science. As I said, if this whole concept about you have to build the next Facebook, or you have to build the next Tesla, or you have to build the next, that's dumb. Okay, that's just because these people on media are propagating this weird fantasy about getting funding and getting like $1 billion. And no, it's the probability of you creating the next Google or Facebook is so tiny, is so small that it's just not a realistic goal. But what you can do is you can get 1,000 customers to pay you for your product. You can get 10 lakh rupees in revenue every month. I think that's cool. Like, that's good, right?
It is. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, build a product that people are willing to pay for, and you're good. Like, that's about it. You don't need to start a Facebook when you're 17 years old. Okay, you don't.
Yeah.
That's just a dumb idea. I personally hate the fact that all these people on media, like, they push this propaganda of having young people being put under, young entrepreneurs being put under so much pressure, where they have to, like, succeed in the first year they have to grow 1,000 times. That's just stupid. Okay, like, Elon Musk started his first company when he was 25 years old, and he sold it when he was 28. It took him 3 years to sell Zip2, right? But even before that, he was doing something, right? He got his first exit when he was 28. If you talk about, so one of the guys I look up to when I talk about stuff like this is this guy called David Heinemeier Hansen. So DHH, and the guy talks about the same thing. You have a product, you want to sell it to somebody's willing to pay you money. What else is there? I mean, yeah, you have this influence that, okay, you have to give your product out for free. You don't have to give your product out for free. No, like, nobody's asking you to give it out for free. Instagram is a 1 in a billion, like, probability thing. Facebook is a 1 in a billion probability. You are not supposed to start companies like that at such an early age. Don't expect success like that. But what you can do is build a 10 lakh company, 10 lakh a month company very, very, like, relatively easily. You don't even have to take a lot of risk. You have to build a product that somebody wants to pay for. That's it. It's not that hard. Okay, it's not the hardest thing in the world. I mean, it's hard. It's harder than working a job working a regular job. It's harder than that, but it's not as hard as you think it is.
Okay.
That's about it.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool, actually. So I'm done with my questions.